I really enjoy camo grinding, and as shocking as that statement is, I completed the Lachmann Shroud, and I honestly have no idea why they felt the need to add this gun to the game. It's the Lachmann sub, but worse, and every other submachine gun in the category does outclass it. No matter what anyone tells you, there actually isn't a practical use for the Shroud. It's still fun to use, and it's challenging, and if you're bored of using every other gun in the game, I could see giving it a try then, but overall, it's just another okay DLC gun added to the game. I finished off Orion and the Weapon Mastery for the Lachmann Shroud, and in the meantime, a lot of you have been asking where the camo guides are for new videos, and a lot of people don't know. Ever since Season 5, I'm trying a new style of camo guide in my YouTube short page, so if you go to my channel and click on the Shorts tab, you'll see 4 camo guides for all of the new guns within Season 5 and Season 5 Reloaded. I felt at least for the rest of Modern Warfare 2, there was no need to make long, drawn-out videos on a camo guide for a gun when you can unlock gold in less than an hour. So that's what I'll be doing for the rest of Modern Warfare 2 until Modern Warfare 3 comes out, depending on how that camo grind goes. We may switch back to normal videos, or we just might remain shorts. The only downside to uploading YouTube shorts is there is barely any way to actually find them in your sub box. So yeah, if you've ever been wondering where the camo guides are, that's the update. So let's talk about the Lachmann Shroud and how the gun actually performs. If you've used this gun, you've unfortunately already figured out that it has 1 burst potential but is extremely inconsistent. And if you've never used the Lachmann Shroud or didn't even know this gun was in the game, we now have a burst MP5, which doesn't sound that bad on paper considering the normal MP5, the Lachmann sub, is one of the best SMGs in the entire game. At the end of the day, it's just another submachine gun, and if you remember on Warzone Caldera back in Vanguard when the Blixen was added, there was a ground loot variant that was burst only and it really sucked. That's pretty much what this gun is, at least in Warzone. In multiplayer, it has a little bit more use and more function because there's less health. You do get 1 burst kills from time to time. The big issue is between the bursts, there's such a delay where it feels like your mouse or controller aren't working because you'll hit the trigger and your gun will shoot and you're spamming the trigger to fire off your next round, but it's so delayed. It's just so unbelievably frustrating for a burst weapon. When it comes to something like the M16, it's expected that there's going to be a burst delay, especially because that gun is so strong at all ranges. But for an SMG, you'd think the fire rate would be a lot faster than it actually is. And that's the big issue with Warzone. It's a submachine gun, so you have to be up close for it to be useful. And at point blank ranges, because the bursts have a delay, and okay, when I say burst delay, of course all burst weapons have a delay. This one's just so drawn out that the word delay actually has some emphasis here. But that delay causes you to die in close range gunfights because you're just getting fried with the actual Lachmann sub to begin with, where you don't even have a chance. And it is really cool that this gun has an integrated suppressor so you can always stay stealthy, but I don't think the trade-off of stealth for a weaker killing weapon is a great idea. I'm surprised this gun is burst to begin with. We already have a bunch of guns in the game that have copy and pasted relatives to begin with. Look at the Cast-Off 545 and the Cast-Off 762. You could look at the M13B and the M13C and say the exact same thing, where the functionality and guns are pretty much the same. They just have a few different minor stat changes. I'm surprised they didn't do that here. I mean, I can kind of understand them making it a burst-only SMG to diversify the category overall, and maybe try to change things up because they don't want to seem lazy because, hey, not only do we have like 8 different cast-offs in the game, but now we're adding even more Lachmanns to the category that are virtually the same as before. I mean, I kind of get them trying to switch it up, but at this point, it doesn't really make sense to me because we have so many of the same guns already in the game. To recap the Shroud, it's not the worst gun in the world. It's still going to kill enemies at close range, and because it's a burst weapon, you have greater accuracy at longer ranges, even though the bullet damage drop-off, what's it called? Even though the damage range isn't the greatest, the accuracy doesn't fully make up for that drop-off. It's actually really fun trying to go for an MGB because the gun is more challenging to use. It took me such a long time on the new map, the DM1, DMZ, DM whatever it's called, to actually drop a nuke in the game. It took me probably 20 matches to finally get a lobby where it's kind of a good thing for me, other than it's boring, where a few of the enemies were AFK at the beginning of the match, where I could get some of those early kills for the streak going. But after I dropped the MGB, I kept streaking out, and I get complacent after getting so many kills without dying, where I start to think I'm invincible and can run around and win every gunfight I get into. And then I end up dying to someone who I turn my back to or decide to ego challenge when I really have no business doing that. The weapon challenges were straightforward, and for everything, I stayed in shipment 24/7, except for long shots, which I went into hardcore hardpoint. And because it's an SMG and the burst SMG, actually, here we go. Here is the one thing this gun is extremely good at. At long ranges in hardcore game modes, the burst and semi-auto function make for easy long range kills, even though you're only going to do that for the platinum camo. Unlocking the emblems, calling cards, and the Lachmann Shroud weapon charm for weapon grand mastery was straightforward. I just lived in shipment 24/7 for like 4 hours. I feel accomplished now that this gun's out of the way. I don't have any incentive to ever use it again, but who knows, maybe it'll receive the buff of a lifetime where it one bursts at every range regardless of if you're in hardcore or core. The only gun I have left to grind is the 9mm Damon. No one is able to complete the gold camo challenge for it because you need to get 30 kills with the akimbo attachment, and no one can actually equip the akimbo attachment outside of custom match, which is a really weird bug to have happen. When it came to Vanguard, every time there was a new camo or challenge added to the game, it didn't work properly at all. But it's weird to have this happen in Modern Warfare 2 because, to my recollection, this hasn't happened very often or at all with this game. And I'm surprised it hasn't been fixed since the Season 5 Reloaded update. That concludes the Lachmann Shroud. I'm also back grinding YouTube full-time again. This time it's not going to be like what I said this summer, where after not uploading for an entire month, I would make one video, say that I was back, and then disappear for a few more months. I'm done work, which is great, and I'm back in school, which means I have a lot of time to work on videos and grind games again, which is going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, expect videos to be back as usual. They may not be daily like I used to post, but you'll see at least 3 or 4 videos a week. I already know what you're thinking. You're expecting this video to be posted and then I'll be on another 2-month hiatus and then you won't see me till Modern Warfare 3, but that's not the case. I have a secret that I've been working on in the background. I can't say anything about it because it might not happen, but assuming it does, there's going to be a massive change that you'll see, and no one is going to guess what it is. There's also some new camo grinds that have been added to Modern Warfare 2. There's one in DMZ that has such a difficult and tedious challenge to unlock the most basic camo you've ever seen. I'm grinding through multiplayer and Warzone ranked to hopefully unlock the iridescent camo, because at the end of the season, it will most likely be the rarest camo in the game, other than the top 250 camo. But for those who don't play ranked, the top 250 is filled with cheaters, people who are being carried by cheaters, or on the off chance that they're a legit player, a professional player that has crossplay turned off. And of course, the Season 5 Reloaded event camo, and I'm just waiting for the 9mm Damon to be fixed as well, because I want to do Orion on that, just so I have the satisfaction of completing everything in the game, because it's very weird having one gun that you can't get the Mastery camo on, but no one can, so it makes me feel a little bit better about myself. That's the update. Back in school, you're going to see a lot more videos coming out. Hopefully, a big change coming soon, and if not, I'll talk about that change once that situation has either come or gone. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.